welcome to the Questionnaires podcast, where each week we source the best questions from Yahoo Answers and attempt to provide the best advice from.
If you have a tattoo sleeve on your leg, do you call it a leg sleeve or a pant?
2.
Shouldn't completed paintings be called painteds?
We're here to prove that every question deserves an answer. Joined with me this week, as always, is Marcus.
Hello, Tom.
And Damien.
Hello, gentlemen.
I think it would not be a bad idea to invest in a pair of pants as far as tattoos go. I feel like I could just rock my life with some short shorts and then you don't need to worry about sort of forgetting to wear your pants if that happens to you often.
Yeah.
It's like the bass player from Rage Against the Machine. Have you seen his sleeves? Like if he's not wearing a t-shirt, it looks like he's wearing literal t-shirt sleeves. And it's just a tattoo.
But the problem with that is, what if you ever wanted to not wear sleeves? Like, it's like, that's it. Your arms from now on are covered in whatever you want to be covered in. And same with pants too. I mean,
that does sound like you're being an out of touch old person by saying that, especially considering you have a tattoo.
I'm the only one with a tattoo here.
Yeah, and you're so clearly playing devil's advocate here because what if you don't want to have the tattoo anymore? You can't get rid of it.
I've always thought about sleeves, and then I always thought like getting an arm sleeve or something like that. But then I thought to myself, yeah, but then there's times where I don't want that to be shown, and you wear a t-shirt, you always got it there. So it's like, I want to at least be able to cover it if I need you.
I've always said, like, in another life, I would love to rock like a full sleeve. I just feel like it would be, I don't know, I feel like it'd be like something very interesting to sort of have there, but I just could not commit to something, to a decision of something that, not that I wouldn't like regret the tattoo itself, but just making the decision I feel like would be so hard. And that's like a lot of little decisions all around your arm, you know?
Yes, it's a collage of decisions.
Yes, right.
Now that you're a dad, Tom, like if you were to get a tattoo, do you think you would go like you are predisposed to get a sentimental tattoo, or would you still get something that young Tom would have been proud to wear?
No, I'd still get a wolf howling at the moon instead. I don't think there's any. I don't really like sentimental tattoos either. I get the point of them, but that's not really my style either. I appreciate the artwork of a tattoo. I think like artwork wise, that's what it's all about. It's a form of art, and I would just be like, let's put that art on my arm or on my chest for eternity, rather than like a date or something.
Well, that's I'm not one for like words and tattoos or anything like that. I'm all about the art, but then again, everybody's different, you know. The one tattoo I can never get behind is neck tattoos. I don't care what's on your neck. It looks ridiculous. I don't like it.
What if somebody got a Questionnaires tattoo on their neck, like our logo?
You'd get behind that, right?
I'll pay for that. All right. If someone gets my face on their neck, I'll pay for it.
So you differ from Drake. Have you seen that woman who got like literally in all capital letters Drake on her forehead?
Well, that's just stupid.
And it's a bad tattoo, and it's not done well. And Drake saw it, and he was like, "Why? Like, I will pay for the removal of this. Like, I don't. I'm flattered, but also no, don't do this."
If you were going to do it, you should have told me. I would have somehow paid to stop it from happening. Like,
exactly.
I want you to be associated with my brand and like that being a tattoo on your head. Marcus, how do you feel about the Bachelor this year has a tattoo running down his neck? It looks like someone like has just sort of attacked him with a Sharpie a couple of times and just sort of struck him by his ear.
Look, it's not the worst neck tattoo. I'm talking about the neck tattoos that are like on the front of the neck, like it's all like that. Like it looks like it's eating your neck pretty much. That looks like a rat tail, but of tattoo nature. I don't like it, but it's better. It's better than the other sort of neck tattoos.
These are all the interesting things that we discuss on this show, and you know what you're in for when we have a good discussion like this at the start. But we like to move on to what we're really here to do, which is answer questions from the website Yahoo Answers. It's what we do each and every week. We find questions from the website. We try to provide advice to these people and help them on their way. That is how the show works. The other thing we do is we choose a theme for each week to name the question askers, and it's Damien's theme this week.
Thank you, Thomas. And this week's theme is, what topic could you guys give a 20-minute presentation on without any preparation? So it's basically our podcast, but as a presentation to people.
In presentation form. I'll get the slides ready. Don't worry. Well, yeah, I can do it. I can do it, man. Don't worry.
Personally, like, I feel like I couldn't even talk about podcasting for 20 minutes, even though I talk on a podcast for 40 minutes every week. So it's an actual really interesting.
Do you know why, Tom? Your presentation would be, so I've run a podcast for about 5 years now, and it's not very successful. towel, so I can't really say much about how to do it.
I can tell you how not to do it. That's how you can do it. And not be
Everything's a cautionary
successful.
tale.
Is the formula for what not to do. So eventually we'll hit
there
what we
you go.
should do. All right. Well, who wants to go first with this one? Because I have to have a little bit of a think for this one.
I can go first. I can do this.
Give me 20 minutes and I'll think of I'll think of the actual presentation in my head. Marcus, you're going to go first?
Yeah, well, there's a few things I could talk. Like, you guys know me. I can talk the ass of a horse. So there's not many topics I can't talk
I'm
about
going
for
to tell
20
you how
minutes.
to rip the ass off a horse.
Okay,
I mean-
let me hit you with this question then, Marcus. What is the one topic that you think you could sell, like convincingly, if you had to do a 20-minute? Yeah,
Like self
so I think
convincing.
anybody can bullshit for 20 minutes, but
I'm not bullshitting about anything, man.
I want
I'm not
conviction
bullshitting about
in it.
anything.
I want conviction.
gotta be true to
I'm not bullshitting about anything. All right, I could definitely talk about the AFL in great detail for 20 minutes. All right, like I could talk about all the rules, all the other bullshit, the intricacies. That's me. I can do that for sure.
Sexiest players.
Yeah, sexiest players, least sexiest players. There's
where
a
we
few.
start.
There's definitely a few, and the most common hairstyles. Anyway, whatever. AFL writes in: anyone ever have a toxic neighbor? One of my neighbors is always gossiping and talking badly about other women in our neighborhood. It's awkward because I like the other women and I don't have any issues with anyone. I feel like she's jealous or something because it just makes no sense why she says some things she says. Has anyone had a toxic neighbor before? I don't want to get mixed up in talking badly about others. I don't say much when she gossips, but I feel like I'm guilty by association. Ugh. I want to keep a good relationship though. This is where we live. The AFL.
Look, whenever anything comes up with neighbours, I also have to mention that Marcus and I were neighbours for a long time. So that is just my full disclosure right there.
Yeah, I think enough time has passed now, Tom, that you can actually be truthful about how you really felt about Marcus. Now,
Yeah, we haven't been neighbours for
couple years
Tom.
removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 20-minute expert speech would be about living next door to Marcus and how to deal with that. I'm an expert.
This is a serious question. I'm putting you on the spot, Tom. I apologize.
Yeah.
Being neighbours with Marcus, was there anything his household as a collective did that you didn't like, that wasn't very neighbourly, that you weren't a fan of?
Look,
I can think of one.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for Marcus's family, and I consider them to be my family. They're a big part of my life. But
Having said that,
look, there's just something about Sunday mornings with Marcus's dad cartering the pool while listening to Elvis Full Blast every week. That was just a bit too much for me to handle.
Yeah, look, it was a bit too much for us to handle too. Like, we told my dad off plenty of times, hey, Dad, look, everybody loves a bit of Elvis or Davina or whatever the fuck he was wanted to listen to, but not 9 a.m. on a Sunday. That's God's day, all right? God's day to rest.
You've heard of Burning Love? It was Burning Ears for me, so that's the experience for me. But I will say that, like, we were a pretty close neighborhood, and as far as, like, we know everyone in the street, and I reckon that the more you sort of know and are familiar with the people, or you haven't, you let them into your lives, or you're in their lives, they're in your lives, the more you have the chance to sort of gossip amongst with other neighbors about those neighbors. You know what I mean? So, like, there were probably people down the other end of the street that will be like, what's going on there? Like, we had a couple of, like, I feel like we had like a couple of people down the other end, Marcus, that we might have been like, oh, they're a bit on the crazy end. Like, there was a girl that apparently had set fire to, like, a block of land that was up the other end of the street. Do you remember that girl?
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
remember her. Yeah, I remember her.
Like, so
And
there was-
it's all gossip. Yeah.
Yeah, there was there's some trouble up there. So they were the obviously ones you're like, oh, that person over there, she's a bit of a drop kick, and you don't sort of know anything about them because they're 5 houses away. We basically don't know them. They're basically in another town. But like,
They could be in another country. They could be, that's it.
Exactly. Instead of like, introducing ourselves and getting to know them, we just start rumors and gossip because that's the mature thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely the fun thing to do. And I feel like as neighbor, like you said, the closer you get with certain neighbors, the more you gossip about other neighbors. And I feel like it's a common thing. I feel like gossiping, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of good, like, I want to say good nature because although we gossiped about them and it probably wasn't right, but we never treated them any differently. I don't feel. Not to their faces anyway. Like,
No. What we really did was we sort of like assigned scenarios or like sort of stereotypes to the people that lived in each of the places to be like sort of creating like little stories behind them. Like, all right, this is the guy who's, he's 45 and he lives with his mother. This is the guy next door that's never home, but we think he's a serial killer. This is the guy that is like super protective and like we're pretty sure he's like mafia. This is someone else, and so on and so forth.
I think everybody's guilty of that. Like, because you just get glimpses of neighbors around your area and you're like, well, I don't know much about them. So let me just fill in the backstory for them, essentially.
I'll decide on their story.
Exactly. But let's be real here. We were like 10 years old when we gave him, we assigned all of these,
of course,
these gossiping natured things.
Based on nothing at all.
I still do it now, but they're less harmful. They're not, this guy's a part of the mafia. This guy's the serial killer. This. It's more like, oh, that guy must be the son of that guy, or that guy owns that house. Oh, that's cool. All right, whatever.
Or it's like, this guy's got weeds in the front of his garden. He clearly is an irresponsible person. Like, it's a lot more mundane now.
Yeah. Because now you know what it's like to basically own a home or like live in a place and care for it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a toxic neighbor for me, but I have found out, I was speaking to one of my neighbors yesterday, and he had the cops called on him by a neighbor because this is the neighbor I was talking about last week, where they're not living in their house currently. They're just coming back and forth every now and then to fix it up before they sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had rocked up at his house to do some work, and the cops rocked up and like, what are you doing here? Obviously explained to them that it was his house, but then they informed him that one of our neighbors rang the cops on him saying like he was illegally visiting a house or something like that.
Yep.
So that means that there's one of my neighbors just like peering out their blinds, Disturbia style, just, you know, and just dobbing people in, even though that guy wasn't doing anything wrong at that point, but it was interesting.
They probably didn't know that was the owner, surely. Like
I guess not, but also this guy's been living here for like the last 10 years, so they're not, if they didn't know that, they're not a very perceptive neighbor.
Fair.
Damien, have you like ever been like, I don't know, I can't sort of like relate to a different neighborhood experience growing up than my neighborhood. How were you with your neighbors around the area? Were you sort of tight knit? Was it sort of like, if I don't know you, I'm against you sort of situation?
I had the duality of old people is how I would phrase my original neighbor situation. I had one guy, an old elderly man on the left side who was an absolute saint. His name was Duke. I absolutely loved him. And then there was an elderly couple on the right side who were like the devils. They were like, no matter how hard my parents tried and we tried throughout the years of saying hello to them or anything like that, we would just get the leer. Like they would say nothing. They would give us nothing. And then you had Duke on the other side who was a ray of sunshine.
Wait, so did Duke like the other neighbors as well? Like, did you know if Duke had a relationship with the evil oldies?
Because they were old, like they had it in common.
No, did they know one another? Did they? Yeah.
Honestly, Duke was like, he was like do you know, like in Game of Thrones and stuff, there's always like the old wise sage that everybody kind of just respects him. He was like that person. So nobody had a beef with Duke. So he didn't care.
So you could you could say Duke had no hazards.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Wow.
It's a good effort there, Marcus. It's a pretty good effort.
You could absolutely say that.
A for effort, but like C for delivery, eh?
I'm proud of you, Marcus. Usually you don't think of those sort of things. I would like to think that Duke is like the one who could basically save your relationship with like these two people. If you were to tell Duke, be like, yeah, you know, Hale and Satan that live next door to us, they are terrible. And you'd just be like, don't worry about it, Damien. I'll have a word to them and you'll be having dinner with them next week. Trust me.
Look, if Duke was still with us, I'm sure he would have done that.
Oh,
there was
bless.
a period that I remember that was it was really funny. So my dad and this neighbor, the Hale and Satan, as you referred to them, Tom,
Yes.
they had this ongoing war because they both had trees that hung over each other's fences.
Yeah.
So there was one time where the neighbor cut the trees, they fell onto my dad's side, and the neighbor didn't clean them up, didn't tell my dad. So my dad came into the backyard, saw the mess. So then for like the next couple of months, they were just doing the same thing to each other. It was just like this branch tennis where they were cutting branches onto one side,
Leaving them
and
off.
just went on for ages with nobody like relenting or saying anything about it.
At the end of it, there was like no trees left. it was completely barren.
Yeah, just a stick on either end.
Like, this is not about the trees, Damien, okay? It's about the principle. You can always get more trees.
You can't see the forest from the trees, Damien. You understand? And it's like, I can't see the forest,
any
Dad,
trees.
because you dropped them all down.
There is no forest. It's a concrete jungle now. Okay, well, in this situation then particularly, gossiping, is this person gossiping or being gossiped about? What was their actual dilemma?
Their dilemma is the person, like their neighbor is gossiping and she feels guilty about gossiping with
Yeah,
her
yeah.
because she's like, oh, I like the other people she's gossiping about. So
So she doesn't want to get involved in it.
she doesn't want to get involved. But I feel like at the end of the day,